And I think we can go ahead and I guess I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is the Lake County Council of Mayors Transportation Committee. Today is April 22nd. My name is Bob Phillips, Committee Chair and Director of Public Works and Engineering for the Village of Deerfield. We would normally go around the room and do a round of introductions, but most recently we've been calling roll at the beginning of the meeting. Mike, can you call roll, please?
Sure. Mark Huber, Beach Park.
Present.
Bob Phillips, Deerfield.
Present.
Kayla Noonan, Fox Lake. Heather Galan, Gurnee.
Here.
Erica Frabel, Hawthorne Woods.
Here. Morning.
Mike Brown, Lake Zurich.
Present.
Shane Schneider, Lake County DOT.
Present.
Kevin Carrier, Lake County DOT.
Present.
Mayor Jacob, Long Grove.
Yes, present.
Fred Chung, Libertyville.
Present.
Wally Dietrich, Lincolnshire.
Here.
Clay Johnson, Lindenhurst.
Here.
Michael Talbot, Killdeer. Steve Shields, Round Lake.
Present.
Scott Hiltz, Round Lake Beach.
Here.
Thomas Maillard, Waukegan.
Present.
Are there any other municipalities that I missed? I heard some people join while I was calling names.
Good morning from Wadsworth.
Mayor.
Morning, Mayor.
Morning, Mr. Phillips.
All right, and then we also have Joe Serdam, Lake County DOT.
Here.
Linda Soto, Pace, LCTA. Lauren Platt in the tollway.
Good morning, everyone. Pinch hitting for Kelsey in the interim right now.
All right. Thank you, Lauren. Mary Donner, Pace.
I am here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Anthony Rubino, Pace.
Here, thank you.
Russell Petroviak, CMAP.
Here.
Alex Hosa, IDOT.
Present.
Rick Mack from Metro.
Here. Thank you.
Katie Hurtis from IDOT. All right, Matt Smith,
Here.
Joel Christel,
Here.
Ben Vanderwall,
Here.
Mark Kozlowski,
Here.
Dan Shug.
Here.
Chris Bouchard,
Here.
John Vanna,
Good morning. Here.
Dan Brinkman,
Here.
John Ambrose,
Here.
Jason Fleur,
Here.
Lee Fell,
Here.
Brian Plum,
Here.
Mark Buin, Becca Wagner.
I'm here. Sorry.
Hi, Becca's here. Yep.
Is there anyone else I missed?
Mike Talbot from Killdeer is here too.
Apologies, Mike. You have a quorum.
Great. Thank you, Mike. And once again, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming. We'll move right into the agenda. Approval, the first item on there, well, second item on there is approval of the minutes from the last meeting. Do I have a motion for approval?
Beach Park, motion to approve.
Second by Killdeer.
Thank you. Any questions or comments about the meeting minutes from the last meeting? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Sure. Beach Park,
Aye.
Deerfield,
Aye.
Fox Lake,
Aye.
Gurnee,
Aye.
Hawthorne Woods,
Yes.
Lake Zurich,
Aye.
Lake County DOT,
Aye.
Long Grove,
Aye.
Libertyville, Lincolnshire,
Aye.
Lindenhurst,
Aye.
Kildare,
Aye.
Round Lake,
Aye.
Round Lake Beach,
Aye.
Wadsworth, and Waukegan.
Aye.
Wadsworth was aye.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you all. Motion passes. We'll move into agency reports and we'll let Katie Hurtis with IDOT Bureau Programming lead that off. Katie?
Good morning, everyone. We have completed our part of the multi-year program. And we've sent that down to Springfield. So we're waiting for them to get everything published. And I'm not sure when that will be out. We haven't heard anything on that. We're just in the beginning stages. Also, so for construction, we started up construction. So if you see signs around, and you have any questions about those signs that have been started to put up, let me know. You can give me a call or email. So as far as new projects that are just have been awarded recently, we have Illinois 60 Ravenwood Boulevard to US 41, a crack and joint sealing. Illinois 137 Russell Road to Greenwood Road, a standard overlay. 173 from McHenry County line to Lake Street, and then Orchard Street to Madison Avenue. It's a microsurfacing, sorry. And then Illinois 176 from Midlothian to 4th Street. We have signal timing progression. So those should all start up in the next couple months. And if you have any questions on any of that stuff, other than that, the sheets have not really changed because the new program hasn't come out. And I'll have more updates on what's going on out there in construction by next meeting, because everything will really have been started up. So if there's any other questions.
Great, thanks, Katie.
You're welcome.
No questions? Going once? Moving into IDOT Bureau of Local Roads and Streets. Alex?
Good morning, guys. This is Alex Hosa from Local Roads. I don't have a lot to update for today, except maybe 2 projects. Project number 1, it will be in the SATA sheet. 1 out of 6 is item number 4, Green Oaks, Atkinson Road for the bridge. And the bridge is under 20 feet in length, which is not really STP eligible project. And we need the local agency to decide what direction they want to go with for this project. It's not STP eligible. And plan sheet number 2, we're good. I don't have any comments or revisions in that sheet since last time we met. Plan sheet, status sheet number 3, we're good. Status sheet number 4, Libertyville Township for Oak Spring Road. We do have design approval as of March 31st, 2021. And status sheet 5, we're good. I don't have any comments. And same thing with page 6 out of 6. That's all what I have for today. And if you have any questions for me, I'll be happy to answer any questions for any kind of projects, Rebuild Illinois Bond, or any different kind of projects. I'll be around if you have any questions later on. And that's all what I have.
Thank you, Alex.
You're welcome.
Alex, a quick question for you. Do you find are most communities using RBI money this year for local projects that you know of in your area?
Yes, I do. And I think there's a couple of those in your area. They received allotment less than $45,000, and they can use that for maintenance projects. And as of now, everyone should receive 3 allotments. And you cannot, that's the only funding you have right now for any projects. You cannot assume the 5 allotments. I mean, you cannot propose for future funds coming in. As of now, you can just use whatever you have with your allotments, with the last 3. And any project over $45,000, which is gonna go with, according to Circular Letter 2020-16, with pavement design, minimum 13 years, and you can use it from resurfacing projects and above. But I did receive a lot from Lake County, and we're looking forward to receive, more projects from Lake County. And the process is like what we discussed last time. We're looking forward to receive, more from Lake County.
Join the meeting.
I got phone problems here. Did anyone ask a question?
Alex, just one follow-up question on that. So if a community has, so we've received 3 payments on the RBI, and if we have another payment coming, which is later on this year, say October-ish, we can't claim that money on a project that we're letting now?
No, you can just use the 3 only.
Okay, got it.
And again, like what I said, that the approval for a Build Illinois bond is simple. All what I need, a letter coming from the local agency, location and the scope of the project. And I need in the letter to say, like, we are meeting Circular Letter 2020-16, and it will meet the 13 years payment design, and just PDF and send it to me. I will reply back as approved. And that is your approval to use a Build Illinois bond. And it is following MFT guidelines, 100% almost like MFT. There's no phase 1 for those projects.
Great, thank you, Alex.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Alex? Hearing none, we'll move on to the Illinois State Toll Highway Authority, Kelsey Passy.
Hi, good morning, everyone. You guys do have an attachment in your packets. I just wanted to touch on a few things. Our board of directors, Governor Pritzker has appointed Jacqueline Gomez Fuentes. She was to fill an open seat on our board of directors. She serves as the Director of Supplier and Workforce Diversity at the Obama Foundation, where she's responsible for implementing and managing the foundation's diversity and inclusion program. Next, we are switching to cashless tolling. So last March, we halted cash toll collection, and that was to help mitigate the spread of COVID-19. So since then, we've taken extensive measures to better serve customers who previously relied on cash payments. And we also were providing relief during the pandemic. So moving forward, the tollway drivers will continue to have the option to pay tolls with iPass, EasyPass, or online by our pay-by-plate service. So we maintain a 14-day grace period, which happens to be one of the longest in the nation. This allows customers to pay unpaid tolls without additional fees or fines prior to being mailed an invoice. With the future of our toll plazas, more changes will be made to improve the customer experience. That includes additional signage, striping, and other changes to reduce our maintenance costs. Work is common across all toll plazas on the Illinois tollway system. So a long-term plan for each site will be developed and we'll assess potential to better serve our customers. So as those changes are announced, we'll be sure to share them all with you. Since COVID, like I said, we put some extensive protocols in place to protect our employees and frontline workers. So the Tollway Board of Directors has continued to meet virtually each month to keep all business, roadway services, and construction actively moving. So we are all still working from home. I wanted to touch on the move over law. Just remind everyone, when driving, we must take care for everyone who works on our roadways. That goes for troopers, roadway, and help truck drivers. The law requires drivers to slow down, move over, and change lanes if possible to make room when approaching any vehicle with lights flashing that are stopped on the roadway. Construction this year, we have kicked off our 10th year of the Move Illinois Capital Program, and this year we have some of our biggest and most challenging projects. Within your county, we have Eden Spur Tollway, which is I-94 reconstruction that has been completed, and wrap-up work for local road improvements will be completed in early 2021. Stearns School Road Bridge over I-94 work has begun with a full closure and detour. Details are available on the project section on the Tollway website. With that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Kelsey.
Thank you.
Moving on to the CMAP report, Russell Petrowiak.
Hello. So Mike Clemens does a good job of keeping you guys informed of what's going on at CMAP, so I'll try to be brief here. There's been a lot of discussions within the region about potential earmarks and submitting projects for consideration for those earmarks, especially getting those projects in the TIP or TIP ready. So there's been a lot of work going on with that. Recently, FHWA has inquired with the planning liaisons, and this might then filter down to the municipalities about if a municipality has an ADA transition. So we're just collecting information right now on if ADA transition plans have been published, how many municipalities have that. Some of this relates to a report that MPC did, and so we're just trying to put some numbers together which municipalities actually have ADA transition plans and which ones have made those public. In terms of CMAP, we're currently still working remote, but starting next month, we will start having some employees on a voluntary basis return to the office. The goal is that in early September, we'll be back in the office at a somewhat reduced level, but mainly back in the office. And the reason that that's maybe relevant to the committee is that we might start hosting meetings back at CMAP in the early to late fall. So things like transportation committee and council of mayors and stuff of that nature that's all been remote. Perhaps in the fall we'll be back to in person, but not in the summer. And then finally, the last thing that I wanted to mention is that we're right now, and I think it's coming up on your agenda, we're in the process of finishing and finalizing the STP shared fund, CMAC, and TAP-L programs. And I think councils have until the end of next week to allocate their bonus points to those projects. And so with that, I'll take any questions if there are any for CMAP. Okay,
Thank you, Russell. Hearing none, we'll move on. Andy Plummer with the RTA is not here today. We'll move on to the Metro report. I know that Rick is in the building. Rick?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Let me start with our capital projects, and I'll start with the county-specific ones. The North Chicago Station is the rehab started on that in the first week of April. That's a $495,000 rehab of the station's exterior. Metro's providing the funding. The city of North Chicago is taking the lead on the project, hired the contractor. Construction on this project is expected to last about 3.5 months. So hopefully around July 1st, it will be complete. The Waukegan Station, Metro is in the process of rehabbing now the bathrooms there and making them ADA accessible. UP Forces are the ones doing that project. Metro is providing the funding. We expect construction on that project should be completed sometime in May. Mundelein Station, Metro is rehabbing the platforms. We just mobilized material there this week, and I expect that will be starting either this week or next week. And the goal here is to rehab the platforms. We're going to be taking out the pedestrian crossing because the Village of Mundelein is building a pedestrian overpass at this station. And part of that agreement was that the idea of that was to eliminate the ped crossings. So that's being done as part of the platform rehab project. Other projects that are indirectly related to Lake County, 5 major bridge projects are planned throughout the the system in 2021, including the completion of the first phase of the multi-year project to replace the Union Pacific North Line bridges in Chicago. On the Milwaukee District North Line, Metro will begin construction on the replacement of a 122-year-old bridge over the Milwaukee Avenue in Chicago on the northwest side. On the Milwaukee North Line, signal improvements and upgrades will be done at the Grayland Interlocker in Chicago and the Roundout Interlocker in Lake Forest. This is hot off the press. I'm happy to report that the Metro Board yesterday approved basically an RFP where we're challenging manufacturers of these locomotives to convert our diesel locomotives to battery operated, powered. This would bring our diesel locomotives down to zero emissions. And so this is in the early stages. It would take at least 3 years to accomplish this, we believe, from start to finish. Once complete, again, this would bring these locomotives down to zero emissions. We believe it's a good time because the Biden administration is obviously pushing very hard for environmental issues. And we would like to take advantage of this opportunity. We've been thinking kind of outside the box for a long time about converting our locomotives to battery powered when the technology is available. And so we are taking that first step towards this. And again, the start of this would be for 3 of our older locomotives would be converted over. We would paint those locomotives in green paint schemes so that people would know that they are the green operated locomotives. So that, again, that'll take 3 years. I think the ultimate goal would be to have all our diesel locomotives to be battery operated, but obviously the technology and the dollars need to be there to convert our existing fleet over and to get any new locomotives battery operated. So I do have a press release on this. They just received this morning. I'll make sure I send this out to all the municipalities and to you, Mike, as well. And with that, I would also like to end by saying that the Union Pacific, as you know, at the beginning of the pandemic, they stopped collecting fares on the 3 UP lines. And so they did announce that beginning June 1st, they will start collecting fares again on those lines.
Oh, nice.
So with that, I would be glad to answer any questions.
Well, kudos to you and Metro, Rick, for moving forward with that upgrade to your locomotives. That's really great, showing great leadership on that, and hopefully other organizations can fall in line with you after that. I do have one question for you regarding ridership. I normally ask, what would you suggest or say that your level of ridership is at today?
Well, we've seen a small uptick. As you know, we dropped our ridership at the very beginning of the pandemic. It was down about 95%. It's kind of gone back and forth, and it's really followed the virus. As the case has gone up, ridership has kind of gone down again. We've hovered around a 10% ridership level overall. But the good news is we have seen, kind of anecdotally, we've seen a small uptick in people now starting to go back to work, going downtown. Metro employees who obviously ride trains, myself, we are noticing it and seeing it. There's more activity downtown, more activity in the offices. We've also kept in contact with the companies, Central Lake County as well as Chicago. Central Lake County businesses, we were on a Zoom meeting call a few weeks ago. They gave us a status report on the return to work for them. What they're thinking is some businesses were going to start bringing some people back in May, some July, but it really sounds like the lion's share of people will be starting to return to work after Labor Day this fall. I think, and that makes sense to me. Obviously, everybody's getting vaccinated now and have that opportunity. By midsummer, everybody should have had an opportunity to get a vaccine. As well as hopefully the virus continues to stay under control and go down and eventually get eliminated. And then the other big thing is businesses need to be comfortable having people come back to the office. And right now, the city of Chicago still has a requirement that I believe it's 20 or 25% capacity in the offices downtown. So until that's lifted, you're going to still have, even if Metro, people feel comfortable about going on Metro, that's also going to be something that suppresses ridership. The good news is, though, all the surveys we've seen, people are not at all concerned about riding public transit at all. It's just more of a matter of getting comfortable again, going back to work and being comfortable in the office itself and having the businesses prepared to return people to the office. And finally, I know this is long-winded. I'll end by saying Metro realizes that we're not going to go back to pre-pandemic levels. We know that the work habits are going to change. There's going to be more telecommuting, more work from home. People are going to be going downtown instead of 4 and 5 days a week, maybe only 2 and 3. And we're keeping our eye on that and preparing to have schedules that will meet that new reality.
That's great information. Thanks, Rick.
You're welcome.
If I may, Rick, obviously this is a 3-year plan for the locomotive transition. Have you, has Metro determined which lines those would be first implemented upon?
No, we have not. It's kind of too early in that phase at this time. But
thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Metro? Thanks, Rick. We'll move on to the PACE report. Mary Donner.
Hello, good morning. There you go. Rick, you're a hard act to follow, but I think I can help. We've got some actually good news. We're experiencing growth at this time, and our ridership is now at 55%, nearly 10% higher than this time last year. While this is nowhere near pre-pandemic ridership levels, it does mean we are now experiencing a small social distancing problem. Since the outbreak changed our lives, we've had to limit the number of passengers on our 40-foot buses to 15 and paratransit to single passenger rides. So when the number of riders increases, we're limited in what we can handle. There's not enough equipment. Should circumstances not change, we will need to make other accommodations or possibly leave some riders behind. And this is particularly problematic when the fall session of the school year comes up upon us. Many Waukegan High School students are dependent on PACE for trips to and from school. While vaccination numbers grow, there is still an issue with younger students who are ineligible to receive the vaccine and continued social distancing. Quite frankly, we are stretched to the limit with equipment being deployed to make sure we can handle as many riders as possible. We continue to be in conversations with Waukegan High School throughout this time to see how we can mitigate the circumstances. And then I will say PACE has entered into a time of what I call a hiring thaw. We're always looking for drivers and operations personnel, but we're beginning to bring on positions which have been vacant for many months in administration. If you want to, please check out our website for more information, because we have all the open positions listed every day, and that changes every week. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions. Covered it. Yay.
Nice information, Mary. Mary, we recently learned of the untimely passing of Tim Dilsaver.
Yes.
Our condolences go out to his family, as well as all of his friends and colleagues at PACE. He was a great guy. He fought a courageous battle, and he'll be sorely missed. So please pass that along.
Yes, he was our family at PACE. He will be sorely missed. Thank you.
Okay, moving on. We've got an STP shared fund application bonus report update from Mike Clemens.
Thank you. And as Russell mentioned, we do have bonus points to allocate towards applications for the STP shared fund. As we did 2 years ago, we used a simplified scoring process to rank the applications that we received. But there is a change from last time. Last time we got a total of 25 points, and we could award a maximum of 15 points to a project and then 10 points for, the second ranked project. CMAP has changed that process for bonus points across all councils this year. So now we can award points, 5 points to the highest project, 4 points to the second highest project, and so on, for a total of 15 points. And so the document that was included in the agenda is an updated policy. That the scoring system remains the same, the categories, but it's updated to reflect that we have a different way to allocate those points now. And so I did use this scoring system to rank the 5 applications that were submitted this year. But just, to make sure that everyone's on the same page, we are looking for approval of this updated policy today.
Hey, Mike, it's Kevin with Lake County. A couple of questions. I guess one, what if we only have like 2 or 3 projects? And then 2, I remember last time you were able to share points between councils. Is that still allowable or not?
Yeah, so if we were to only have 2 projects, the options are, we would leave some points on the table, or we could potentially trade points with another council, but there has to be a demonstrated transportation benefit for us to give points to a project in another council. We would have to have some sort of demonstrated benefit to why that benefits Lake County, or vice versa. If we were getting points from someone else, they would have to have that demonstrated benefit. This year we did have exactly 5 projects that submitted applications that are eligible for the shared fund. So all 5 would receive some bonus points. It's the scoring system would be used to determine the values that each project would receive.
Hey, Mike, Mark Huber here. I'm curious, I thought you said that you wanted to update the policy. Are you updating the policy, or are you just requesting approval of the points for those projects at the end there?
The first part is this policy that we're using. And then the second part, I have the actual rankings and then the allocation of those points. So two approvals.
So what's the what are the changes to the policy from the past then?
Last time we had a different allocation of points. We got 25 total points. 15 could be awarded to a single project. Now we get 15 total points, and this box at the top here that the top highest priority project can get 5, and then the second can get 4, and then 3, 2, 1. That's what's changed since last time. But the actual metrics we use to score and rank the projects are the same as 2 years ago.
Okay, so then you're saying that the top box, the priorities, highest priority, that's what's been added to the previous policy.
Correct.
Okay, so then how are those highest priority established? I don't see any criteria in here for says what makes highest and what makes 5th highest.
So that's the next box down here. We have a number of metrics that we use to then score and rank the applications that were submitted. So we look at the regional impact, which is the roadways functional classification, and also a calculation for points based on the ADT of the roadway, the project readiness based on their application, where they are in the process.
Okay.
Are there multiple agencies participating? Are there multimodal components, and then community need based on CMAP's community cohorts?
So you take all of those others, and then whatever gets the max points ends up getting 5 bonus, for example, for highest. And is that correct? Okay.
That's correct. Yep.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And that seems consistent with our methodology that we've been following. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the same metrics that we used 2 years ago to evaluate the shared fund application. The only, like I said, last time we got a different amount of points and could allocate them across projects differently. So this is just updating it based on how the shared fund has updated the point allocation.
Hey, Mike, Bill Jacob here. So I just want to make sure I understand the reasoning. Maybe you just said it that last sentence about why are we updating the policy? And just looking at some of the projects that, you know, have been recently scored, how would they change against this new policy? Would they drop out, or would they move up, or did you guys look at that?
Yeah, so this is actually not for the council's program. It's for the STP shared fund that is projects apply to directly at CMAP, and they have to be a minimum of $5 million total cost or have 3 participating agencies. But CMAP, as part of their scoring system, wanted the councils to be able to designate or highlight their priority projects in their region. 2 years ago, what they did was they scored projects on a 100-point scale. And then in addition to those possible 100 points, they gave every council 25 bonus points that could be awarded to projects. Now each council gets 15 points, and those are included within the 100-point scoring system. And so they're allocated across potentially 5 projects. So it wouldn't change any of our council program projects. It's just awarding bonus points to the applications that submitted to the STP shared fund during the call for projects in this earlier this year.
Yeah, projects 5 million and above.
Yes.
Thank you.
So Mike, that's obviously that's a more efficient use then hopefully of the shared fund. And what happens to that money in the shared fund if it doesn't get used, you know, towards these projects?
So just like the local council, there's active program management in the shared fund as well. They also have a contingency list, and so those projects have to do quarterly status updates, just like our local projects. And if projects are moving out, then there is a contingency list of projects to make sure that the region is spending the money each year.
Okay. Are there any further questions on this item? Do we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Beach Park second.
Once again, an opportunity for comments or questions. Roll call, Mike.
Beach Park. Buffalo Grove.
Yes.
Deerfield.
Yes.
Fox Lake.
Yes.
Kearney.
Yes.
Hawthorne Woods.
Yes.
Lake Zurich.
Aye.
Lake County DOT.
Yes.
Apologies, my spreadsheet just acted on its own. Long Grove.
Aye.
Libertyville.
Aye.
Lincolnshire.
Yes.
Lindenhurst.
Aye.
Killdeer.
Aye.
Round Lake.
Yes.
Round Lake Beach.
Aye.
Wadsworth.
Aye.
And Waukegan.
Aye.
Motion passes. And Mike, there's a second part to this. So 2021 bonus points allocation.
Yes, so there are, as I mentioned, using that scoring matrix, we did score the 5 applications that we got based on that scoring system. And so we have until next week, Friday, to allocate our points. So we're looking to allocate the points we have. On the screen and included in the attachment is how the projects that applied ranked out using the project, using that methodology. But there are two things I'd like to point out about the scoring and then ask for some feedback from the council. So you can see that 3 projects in the middle scored 49 points. But to the right, I used the ADT calculation, which is capped at 20 points, but before the cap as sort of a tiebreaker. So that's why those are sorted in the order they are. The other thing that I wanted to point out and ask for feedback from the committee is the top ranked project, LCDOT's Cedar Lake Road Realignment Project. For a community need, this is a question that I want to put to the council. The project location is in the village of Round Lake, basically downtown Round Lake at Cedar Lake Road and 134. Round Lake is considered a high need community and in CMAP's community cohorts, but LCDOT is leading the project and Lake County is not considered a high need community. So I wanted to put it to the committee here and ask for feedback on should we award the 7 points for community need based on the project's location or not award those points based on the lead agency of the project. If we did not award them, then the project would move from 1st in the rankings to 4th in the rankings, because that's a 7-point difference. So it impacts a little bit how we would allocate the points. So I will put that out there for feedback from the committee.
Steve,
Mike,
you want the project?
Sorry, go ahead.
Mr. Shields,
Excuse me?
is this a high need project in Round Lake?
This is a high need project in Round Lake. Yes, it is.
Yeah, from my perspective, I think that makes a lot of sense. You know, Lake County is pretty diverse, so I would do it based on community need. That's my feedback.
I agree. It seems like a project the local agency probably wouldn't be able to complete on their own, and any help they can get from the county would be really helpful.
And if I can jump in too, this is Kevin with the county. I mean, one other thing to consider too is that local agency obviously benefits from the federal funds. You know, say there was a water main that needed to be relocated that was federally eligible, they would get 80% funding for that water main, or, you know, non-motorized facilities, 80%, you know, things like that too. So it definitely does, in addition to the project being located in that, you know, community, it definitely has a financial benefit as well to wherever that project's located. So.
Yeah, and Bill Jacob here, I don't know if it's fair to say because, you know, Lake Dot is doing the project that they don't get those points. I don't think that's fair to the community in any way, shape, or form. So it makes sense to allocate it.
Okay, sounds like we've got some good support. We're going to be voting on this, looking for a motion for approval.
Beach Park, I'll make the motion to approve.
Kildare, second.
And one more opportunity for comments or questions. Hearing none, roll call please, Mike.
Clark,
Aye.
Buffalo Grove,
Aye.
Deerfield,
Yes.
Fox Lake,
Yes.
Gurnee,
Yes.
Hawthorne Woods,
Yes.
Lake Zurich,
Aye.
Lake County,
Aye.
Long Grove,
Aye.
Libertyville,
Aye.
Lincolnshire, Lindenhurst, oh, thank you.
Aye.
Kildare,
Aye.
Round Lake,
Aye.
Round Lake Beach,
Aye.
Wadsworth,
Aye.
and Waukegan.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Thank you very much. Now moving on to item number 5, Lake Council SCP program.
Thank
I think Mike's going to give an update.
Yeah. So not a whole lot to update on the council program. We have been receiving the quarterly status updates. The last round was in March. The one change that I do want to highlight that's part of the regional active program management rules. If everyone remembers, we have until the end of the federal fiscal year, which is September 30th, to spend our annual allotment of funds. And if we don't, then we have a couple options for funding that will not be obligated by the end of the year. We can grant a 6-month extension. The project can risk it going on its own. And if it doesn't spend those funds without an extension, then the council would lose those funds. So looking at our list of fiscal year 21 projects, all the projects have been let, which is good. We did in our last meetings in January give a cost increase to the Village of Libertyville for the Rockland Road project. And I just wanted to point out that you'll see now on the obligation deadline of our council program, the village did request the 6-month extension, and we did as administratively grant that as staff. That's just to make sure that the IDOT agreement process, which can drag out if for whatever reason the agreements were not signed by the end of the federal fiscal year, we wouldn't risk losing those funds to either the council or the village's project. So no change to anyone else's projects right now. We got some favorable bids in the March letting. As I mentioned in January, we got favorable bids for projects in the November letting, and we should realize those bid savings at some point this year. But as of yet, we still haven't. It can take, obviously, it's 5 months after that letting, and we're still waiting on realizing those savings. But once we do, those funds will come available to the council. The bid savings that we would get would automatically be carried over into federal fiscal year 22. So we wouldn't have a real short time crunch to be able to spend those funds. So we'll use the council's active program management policies to be able to either advance projects in the out years or pull up contingency list projects to make sure that we're allocating those funds once we get the bid savings back. So with that, that's really the update on the council program. But we're basically halfway through the federal fiscal year, and we have let all of our projects. So that's a really good position for us to be in.
Thank you, Mike. Any comments or questions? Okay, moving on to item number 6, section 1440 procedures and circular letter 2021-10. Mike, I don't know who's giving the update on this. Is that you?
Yeah, I'll do this too. Last major item for today, but I did want to point this out, and we did include the circular letter. It came out under a very nondescript headline when the circular letter came out, but it is a potentially a pretty big shift in the way a lot of us would use federal funding. So the FAST Act includes what's called Section 1440, which would allow municipalities to request this process and basically issue notice to proceed for engineering before FHWA authorizes the federal funds. It's in essence, it's a way for our projects to get a start and not have to wait the 9 to 12 to 20 months that we've been seeing for engineering agreements downstate before you issue notice to proceed. So there are some FAQs in that circular letter. A couple of things to point out. You have to have the federal funds awarded. They have to be in our, if we're talking about council funds, they have to be in our active program and in the TIP. And for like phase 2 engineering, you have to have design approval granted. Then you can seek to use this section 1440 process and essentially start work on your phase 2 engineering while the agreements are being processed downstate. You're assuming some risk by doing that. But once the agreements are processed and FHWA authorizes the use of the funds, then you would be able to invoice back and get reimbursed for that work that was done for phase 2 while you were waiting for the agreements to process. So it is a process that has potential to save quite a bit of time in the federal process if used as we think. This is new. I am not yet aware of anyone in Lake County that is using this, but my understanding is that there are a couple projects down in Kane and DuPage counties that have started looking at using this right away. And so if there are anything we hear, definitely let you know. What IDOT has told us is that if you'd like to use this to submit a letter to me as the planning liaison, then I will submit it on to IDOT, and that'll get approval from IDOT and FHWA to use this process. And then you can issue notice to proceed and begin your work while, as I mentioned, while the agreements are being processed. So brief update there, but I'll take questions if there are any, or I'll try to take questions.
Hey, Mike, I have one question for you. This is Alex Hosa from Local Roads.
Sure.
The question I have, if they start phase 2, they cannot invoice any invoices for phase 2 until we get the design approval. Am I correct?
Correct. And this 1440 process, my understanding is that you have to have design approval in order to request the use of this section 1440 process.
The invoice part.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Is there any other business that needs to be discussed today?
I just wanted to point out, actually 2 things. I got one here listed on the agenda, but sent out with the meeting materials today was the notice of funding opportunity that USDOT issued, I believe last week, for the RAISE grants. They were formerly called Tiger grants, and then they were called Build grants, and now they're called RAISE grants. And so the applications for these projects are due July 12th to USDOT. Minimum award size is $5 million. Maximum award size is $25 million. They're 80% federal funding for infrastructure projects. And new this year is a focus on equity in high need communities, and also innovative transportation technologies. The information is included in there, but I did want to mention that that's out there. And, as I meant, with the cost size, they're typically larger projects, but I know there have been some communities in the past that have utilized those, when they were Tiger grants. The other thing, and Russell mentioned this in the CMAP report, is there have been a lot of conversations about the potential return of earmarks. I had a meeting yesterday with staff from Representative Schneider's office talking about some of the projects that are located within his district that are, we're responsible for as the planning liaison for programming them in the TIP, and met with them. So I think there are a couple projects that, even though they weren't directly submitted by the municipalities, Representative Schneider's office is going to look to try to advance some of those projects. So hopefully something comes of that. The latest status we heard was that both the House Democrats and House Republicans have agreed to the return of earmarks. There are sort of 2 concurrent processes going on. The House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee is soliciting a list of projects from members. And then there's also what's called community project funding requests, which are a variety of project types. Our understanding is that the T&I committee transportation requests would be included in a potential reauthorization bill. The FAST Act expires at the end of September, the end of this federal fiscal year. So there's work in both chambers, the Senate and the House, that the relevant committees have been doing on reauthorization, but as of yet, there is not a reauthorization bill that's out there to react to. My understanding is that the administration's infrastructure plan, the American Recovery Plan, is supposedly to be viewed as in addition to a new long-term transportation bill rather than a new reauthorization bill. But there's still a lot of decisions to be made, so we don't know how that'll play out. Last I heard, the Senate had not agreed to the return of earmarks or what the levels may be, so there's still some work to do in Congress before those potential projects could be funded. But if they are, that would benefit a lot of us, I'm sure. And there's potential that it could have some impact on the council program. So I'll stop there. That's all I have for other business.
Thanks, Mike. Hopefully some of that funding coming down will shake some of these projects loose. We can have a normal construction season sometime soon. Moving on to public comment, typically comments on non-agenda items. Mike, are there any public comments that were received via email?
No, I have no public comment.
Okay, any public comments? That anybody have their hand raised in Zoom?
Do not see it.
No.
I had a question to Chair Phillips. I had a quick question. I apologize for this. On that project scoring, back to our STP, the bonus point allocation, I had a minor thing I wanted to kind of discuss and maybe make a motion for amendment, but I don't know. I thought we were going to have a two-tiered approval. I thought we were going to approve the community scoring first and then approve the overall bonus point. So is that possible for, I guess Chair Phillips or Mike, is it possible to revisit this one since we've already gone through with the vote? I don't know if people have dropped off the call or not. I mean, it's a pretty minor thing, but wanted to ask you guys first before I brought it up.
I think we still have everyone here.
I think it seems fair to me, Kevin, to bring it up.
I'll bring it up. I guess the motion we had, was for the second project there, the Lake County DOT one, Deerfield Road reconstruction. That's one that we had previously submitted on the STP Regional Fund for, but since then have gotten additional funding. I think we got some CMAQ funding for the bike path and stuff. So we're almost square with 80% federal funding on that job, and we have a commitment to move that thing forward. So we're just kind of asking for a couple $1 million here to get close to 80%. And I think a lot of that's like our phase 3 engineering. Given that, I know that there's 3 other projects that are probably looking for this as maybe their sole source of funding to try to move the project forward, or hoping to get 80% coverage on those projects. So the motion I was going to have is to maybe slot that Lake County DOT project down to the 5th position, since it's not a critical need for us. Like I said, it's we have a majority of the project already federally funded, and then allow those 3 other projects to kind of bump up and try to take advantage of some additional points here. So that was I guess we can discuss it first, and if it's if people are on board, if you guys want to move it forward, we can try to revote, I guess. But
my Kevin, just to clarify, that project, the reconstruction and widening on Deerfield Road, that's in Riverwoods, is that correct?
Yeah, I think it's a benefit. We've had coordination with Deerfield, Buffalo Grove, and obviously Riverwoods. But yes, it's in the municipality or the village limits of Riverwoods. So it's like a $32 million project, but I think Mike Clemens might know the numbers. I think we're pretty close to 80-20 on that already. So it's not like we're we need 80% of this money to keep the project moving forward. You know what I mean? So that's something we want to just kind of put out there.
That's a great distinction to make, Kevin. Thanks for bringing that up. Mike, any concerns over amending our approval on that?
Not from my end. If the committee would like to do that, yeah, we'll we can make that amendment and then send that revised breakdown to CMAP. Not a problem.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the amendment as discussed by Mr. Carrier from Lake County DOT?
So moved, Lake Zurich.
Second, Waukegan.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, Mike, please.
All right, Beach Park,
Aye.
Buffalo Grove,
Aye.
Deerfield,
Yes.
Fox Lake,
Yes.
Kearney,
Aye.
Hawthorne Woods,
Yes.
Lake Zurich,
Aye.
Lake County,
Yes.
Libertyville,
Yes.
Lincolnshire,
Aye.
Lindenhurst,
Aye.
Killdeer,
Aye.
Round Lake,
Aye.
Round Lake Beach,
Aye.
Wadsworth, and Waukegan.
Aye.
All right.
Motion passes. Thank you. Thanks, Kevin. Is there any other public comment in the room? Hearing none, we'll move on. Mike, thanks for amending the agenda. I noticed that and I reviewed the agenda last week. I think we had April 22nd as the next meeting, which obviously doesn't work. So thanks for doing that. Also, one thing that I want to bring up regarding the next meeting, I don't know, Mike, if Lake County is holding meetings in the council room, is there any thought of having meetings in person, moving to in-person meetings in July, or are we going to stick with the virtual meetings?
I think I would defer to Kevin and Shane from the county to respond to that. For hosting meetings.
Yeah, I don't know if Shane's still on or not. I'll just, it's something that we
Kevin,
can.
yeah, I'm here,
Okay,
Kevin.
you there, Shane.
Yeah, so I think what we can do between over the next couple of weeks, we'll take a look at the latest CDC guidance and the latest guidance we're receiving from the Lake County Health Department. You know, we have a certain capacity within that room, and there's still certain requirements, I believe, I think it's 50% of the room capacity is still a CDC and Lake County Health Department guidelines. So we'll have to look at the typical attendance for one of these meetings and as it compares to that room capacity. Then we'll get back to you. If the guidelines change over the next couple of months, we can keep the group informed. We just want to keep everybody safe, though. I think we're all anxious to see each other again. Just got to do it at the appropriate pace.
Agreed. So the next meeting is on July 22nd, and we'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved, Wadsworth.
Second, Killdeer.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks for attending.